Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. And today I get to share with you the first official patch notes shared with content creators regarding the Alpha Wave 2. So strap in and let's get into it. So here we have the full article on patch notes that have been made between Wave 1 and Wave 2. And I've got to say, I love this style. You know, a lot of us are used to seeing patch notes come through via Discord and things like that to a specific channel or chat for content creators. But here, Fateless is using a software program often used in software development called Jira to be able to deliver these kind of articles to users. So this is pretty slick. I'm a huge fan. Now, patch notes version 0.2.21633. Let's dive in. We can see here that the headings for each article are big changes to Wave 2, Hero Unbinding, Cavern of Chaos Rebalance, UI Improvements, Bugfixes Galore, Rebalances, and Hero Updates, and general bug fixes. So starting right up at the top, it says, Alpha Wave 1 is over and we couldn't be happier with the feedback from all our scions. Feedback collected and the experiences shared have been vital to our team, and we are excited for the next wave of scions to take on the Caverns of Chaos. Today we have our first patch notes aimed at fixing key pain points in the experience, improving the balance of some of our heroes, and we have improvements to hero leveling. Now, what they don't say here is they also have some updates to the camera angles. Guys, that's right. Already, just based off the experiences and the feedback that we gave during Wave 1, the team has been hard at work at updating the camera angles, specifically around bosses, but also just generally changing how the angles function and how they feel in the game. So stay tuned for that. It's about halfway through. But Hero Unbinding, guys, this is awesome. So I myself found by the end of it, I was just sacrificing rares left and right for those 1 and even 2-star slots to be able to rank up my champions. And I would do that when I didn't necessarily want to because my hero roster was getting full. Well, here in Hero Unbinding, we're going to be able to select the heroes we want and sacrifice them to become spirits. Y'all, I made a video when the whole spirit system was first released. I'll either put it down in the description below or pin it as a card up here. But basically, I said, man, it looks like we're going to be able to do this at some point. And Simon responded saying, yeah, that's planned, but not yet. And so my thought was, even post-launch, we were going to get this system, but because of our response and how things worked in game, they have really worked hard to allow us to be able to sacrifice these heroes, gain spirits, clean up our roster, and just be able to move on in the game already before even the alpha is over. So this is really, really cool. You're going to get experience, which looks like a pretty small amount, but you're going to get experience based off the level. So I guess if you level your heroes more, you're going to get more experience back from them, so it may not be lost. But then commons are going to be 1-star, uncommon 2, rare 3, etc., all the way up to legendaries being sacrificed. If you would do that, I don't know why you would, but a 5-star legendary hero would grant you a 5-star spirit. You can see here that at the bottom. Heroes will also reward experience scaling on the rank and level they have reached, but be warned, Unbinding cannot be undone. So you are permanently sacrificing this hero for the spirit they have so that you can use them later for ranking up another champion. Pretty cool. Honestly, I did not expect this for a long time in the game. So the fact that they're already turning this around for Wave 2 it just shows that Fateless is continuing to just really listen to what the community is experiencing, what is their most their biggest struggles when it comes to just like managing their account, managing the game, and man, they churn this out. Awesome stuff. And guys, don't forget, supporting small channels such as mine goes a long way. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for more Godforge content. I actually am going to be able to stream on this wave, and so I'm really looking forward to being able to meet with you, my community, as I play Godforge Wave 2. So hit that subscribe down below and get ready for more content when it comes to Alpha Wave 2. Cavern of Chaos Rebalancing is next. What I was shocked to find out, because honestly, I just went through and frankly, was rarely having to even apply debuffs, but they didn't even really have accuracy and resistance turned on. I think they said in their last podcast, meaning that we didn't really need a whole lot of accuracy. And I did feel this on stage 151, but we didn't need a whole lot of accuracy or resistance to really fight back against the tides of enemies. And they're changing that. In Alpha 2, enemy heroes have been given new powers and will have increased resistance and accuracy after floor 90. They made these changes because we want Silence to explore greater team building moments and bring buffs and debuffs into their teams. I personally actually gave feedback when I was playing in that, yeah, I basically started ignoring buffs and debuffs, well, debuffs, because there were bugs in the game that were allowing me to do infinite damage scaling on the final boss and enough damage to just nuke down enemy teams. And so I think there's going to be a lot of things here. They're going to certainly be empowering, not necessarily empowering the technical term, but powering up the enemy so that it just becomes more challenging. They say that it's given new powers here. I don't think that necessarily means that they're changing particular things on the waves or giving the waves anything specific. I just think it means here that they're making them stronger. We also heard pain points from the economy balance. Now this is important. Let's check this out. Have made steps to make farming critical resources such as armor much easier. I mean, yeah, when in wave 1, it was like, we got the armor we had and that was it. Like there was too many other things to farm. Farming armor that I wanted just didn't seem accessible. Anything I would get was just this wide range of resources. So this could be great. Doubled Ascension Alchemy Stones across all stages. That is huge. Alchemy stones are the hardest resource to find, especially I think Eternal is the affinity, the purple affinity. Man, getting those was such a challenge. And of course, all the best heroes were Eternal. At least the heroes that I was focusing on were Eternal. And so I just straight up stopped ascending some of them. So that'll be great. Increased 2-star spirit drop rates at higher stage. I hope that doesn't necessarily take away the drop rates of other resources and we suddenly aren't able to get like 4-star spirits, but still good. I was using rare heroes for 2-star love ranking all the time. Stages 120 now grant any armor slot with higher quality at higher stages, perfect for auto farming. This is a little unclear in my mind. It sounds like at 120, like stage 120, but stages 120 now grant. So maybe it's stages 120 and higher or lower in the caverns grant any armor slot with higher quality. So potentially every level after stage 120 is going to have higher ranking armor, and basically meaning that if you want particular armor sets or particular style of armor, go past stage 120 and you're going to be able to get higher ranking, more powerful armor of those sets. It's still going to be a lot of farming, hence the perfect for auto farming, but at least we'll be able to go somewhere, know that we're potentially getting, maybe rank 3, 4, or 5 armor, anything like that. I'll be curious to see exactly, they say higher quality at higher stages. I wonder if that is rarity and rank, or if it's just one of those two. We'll have to wait and see. But rebalanced ability upgrades for better reward distribution. Rebalanced ability upgrades for better reward distribution. Huh. Not exactly sure what that means, honestly. Now, like I hear abilities, I think skill upgrades, but that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. So we'll have to see what we may change. But for those of you who reached the final stage, found the fearsome Fire Drake Fafnir a little bit tame. Yes, he was so easy. And Wave 2 increased their power to provide better challenges for stage 150, 151. Okay, so we might actually get that really final boss feel, a really strong Fafnir at the end. So we'll see how the teams face up off against him in Wave 2. Who knows? Check it out. UI improvements. So feedback and bug report has been working hard. Most critical improvements, guys. Remember, this is alpha. Over half of their team is already focusing on the actual game. And so they're really trying to hone in on what is the most game breaking for the alpha waves. We're still going to have bugs for wave 2. We're still going to have bugs for wave 3. That's okay. They're focusing on what is like really affecting gameplay. and other things just are going to be kind of left for the final game. But let's check it out. Struggling with mobile touch points, that's huge. There's so much on the screen. It was really challenging to hit some of those icons. So a smoother experience when upgrading heroes on mobile devices. That's great. So requested feature, the realm of the heroes in the roster. Realm, basically faction. So what faction are the heroes from? They've added the realm flag to help guide. Man, I don't know how I feel about the word realm. It feels a little weird when you could just simply say faction. But I mean, faction is based off of my own like gaming experience. Every game is different. So, get used to it. But yeah, we saw actually when Simon was sharing some in-game content on his last Tuesday video that realm flag was very visible. I just hope that when you long press it or just click it, whatever, that it's actually going to say what the realm is, because newer players were still not used to what each realm means. And so as long as that clicking and identifying text is there, then we're great. But here we go. Camera updates. Guys, this is huge. Our battle camera, especially against bosses, was a little too close and tricky to see the action. I remember the first time I went to Fafnir, it was too much. Even like looking at my computer screen and the distance between me and that screen, it was just like he was so consuming of the screen that I basically had to eventually just look away, because it was, or even turn to one time speed, because there was so much movement. He was so large on the screen that it just wasn't a good feeling. But they've been hard at work testing new angles. They've actually changed the language from default version to POV. So the POV is the primary cinematic version experience. Top is the same. Is great for a larger view of more strategic angle. And ACT replaces the 3/4 camera, so it's that isometric view. They've made some adjustments, and it's between the POV and top angles. Let's jump into the content they've shared with us so that you can see firsthand what they look like now. Here we have that isometric view, ACT. It feels weird to say either of those, but I guess I'll just say the shorthand for ACT. This is that angle that raid players are really accustomed to. I think there's still a lot of shifting between angles based off of abilities and things like that. And so I think it would be nice if there was a toggle in the future for, basically like being able to turn off any cinematic change. And I think that could just keep everything really clean and simple just behind the characters at this angle. But man, what a change here. I can actually see every hero. I don't feel like they're necessarily being swallowed by the angle. It's far more removed from Fafnir, so he's only taking up a portion of the screen. We get that zoom in for his abilities. I think that's okay. I really like those changes. Let's keep going. Next up, we have, looks like, okay, a top view. And this, yeah, I mean, I don't see a whole lot of changes here, but I do like it. Like, it does feel nice to me. And I wonder if there's just less cinematic changes here. I mean, this is, an ultimate, so that kind of goes outside the bounds of what's going to happen, where camera angles are going to change. But I do wonder, though, if there's a way that they could allow the camera angle to be maintained when heroes enter into a stage. Like, you see that they kind of go back to that isometric view and then it pops back over to top. Now, that's very minimal, right? Like, it's not really a big deal. It could be for a lot of players. I don't know. You let me know down in the comments, like, does that bother you? But I wonder if we could just maintain that top angle. So right here, that shift, we don't necessarily see. Isis is really visible here. I like the amount of space everybody is taking up. That feels good to me. Next up, we have another battle with Fafnir. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead here because I believe this is the top view when it comes to the final fight with him. Let's check it out. Okay, yeah, you're fearsome. I get it. Okay, that top view. All right, yeah. This feels a whole lot better. He's taking up probably less than half of what he was originally on the screen. Let's roll that back a little bit and just pause it. Yeah, I mean, look at that, guys. Like, we can actually see the majority of his wingspan here. His head was probably 2 times larger in wave 1. So I think this is a huge This is great. I think this is a great iteration on the camera angle. I love seeing these improvements. Fateless, thank you so much for listening. I love these tweaks. Let's see, next up, we're probably going to, yep. Okay. So here is that cinematic view. I don't know how much they really changed here, and we're not going to see a whole lot of it because these champions are actually geared. When they were first showing all this stuff off, the champions weren't really geared. And so we got to see a lot more changes, but we're still going to see them fighting the dragon. Let's check it out. Okay. So it's interesting. What I kind of notice here is that I don't know if it's necessarily staying in the same angle. Like you see it there, it goes back to the top view and then it does POV, and like it still is jumping around a lot. It would be interesting with like this cinematic view is if instead of going back here, almost it wasn't between every turn, but instead of going here, if it just moved back to like right here, like this angle here, where it was just each point of view of each hero and not necessarily going from point of view to top to point of view to top. Like I said, it doesn't seem like it's doing that every single time, but it does kind of move the camera a lot in this final boss. All in all, though, man, great changes on the camera angles. I love that Fateless is listening to kind of the pain points of the players and just, I mean, working hard. Guys, I mean, frankly, like, let's be honest, game development takes a long time. It is slow moving pieces all coming together into a puzzle. This is awesome to see that they've made so many changes over such a small length of time. I would almost actually warn you to be attentive to the fact that like these are they're implementing so many things that there may be new bugs around these systems, and that's okay. Like they're trying to deliver the best product for us for wave 2. So if some of these things don't work perfectly, I'm sure that they are testing them as vigorously as they can. But I mean, these are some things. I think just around the camera angles, around the spirit system and everything like that. These are things that we didn't touch, that we didn't see in Wave 1. And so they're basically providing a new system of gameplay into Wave 2 that has had like what I think it was like 12 days by the end of it, 12 days, less than 12 days actually of development, because it's already in the patch notes. They've already been working on it. So that's crazy. Next up, we have in-battle info that's being implemented into Wave 2. Here in Wave 1, this icon button never worked. It was just there, but it didn't open anything up. They are using this to be able to display more details on buffs and debuffs, what has been applied, what is happening. I hope it doesn't show here in this little GIF, but I hope that you can then also click each individual buff or debuff, and it will tell you exactly what is being applied or what that one means. We'll see. They do say that this is their first iteration of this screen. So honestly, like brutally honest feedback is that this is so simple. It seems very just dropping a bunch of assets onto the page, but it's for Alpha Wave 2 and they got this live before Wave 2 dropped. So, I mean, round of applause. I mean, it's awesome that they have that. And so I look forward to further iterations of this. They've also increased the quality and size of all effects in battle, which will be critical as you face new terrors of the caverns. That's something we won't really be able to look at until we can actually feel it ourselves. Bug fixes galore is next. Last and certainly not least, the feedback all sides have provided through reporting bugs and issues has been tremendous. We cannot thank the community enough for how passionate they are in helping us deliver the game we want for players. All the feedback has been received, and while some bugs remain, we're fixing over 100 bugs between Alpha Wave 1 and 2. That's awesome. In particular, bugs related to combat freezes, disables, and locks on Fafnir and Golden Guardian, and many critical performance issues have been addressed, making Alpha Wave 2 experience a more stable and reliable experience. Guys, this specifically, bugs related to combat freezes. Hallelujah. We may actually be able to use Heimdall more often, which would be fantastic if you pull him. So rebalances of heroes and updates, there are no real details here, but basically they have rebalanced a lot of the heroes in the roster. They have updated hero abilities for a better balance of the game. It's not exhaustive, so make sure and check all of the abilities in game. There may be some changes for those of you who were in Wave 1. Some of the heroes may be completely changed. Maybe not completely, but even tweaked on their abilities. So make sure and check out abilities when you go to use some of your favorite heroes again. There is an asterisk next to some of these heroes. It says down at the bottom that they're particularly have received more significant updates to better balance their ability set and fix game-breaking mechanics that led to a negative player experience. Well, look, I see an asterisk by Aphrodite here, and game breaking, perhaps, but certainly was not a negative player experience seeing her boost heroes constantly. But you can see here the full list. Just to call out those asterisks, pause here to really look and see what heroes there are. But just to call them out, like I said, Aphrodite, Beowulf, Dracula. I heard somewhere that they believed he wasn't really delivering the damage or the player experience they wanted in wave content, only really in boss content. So I think that he may be actually be getting a pretty significant adjustment. We'll see. Who knows? Hell has some changes. There were issues with her revive, I believe, and then Shamash, Zeus. Yeah, I pulled Zeus, and for anybody who saw it, I'll put a card here, but 30 billion damage on Fafnir by the end of it. The top performing team aside from the broken Achilles bug team. It was just incredible to see the kind of damage Zeus was outputting. So check that video up above. And it's crazy. But yeah, those heroes, honestly, these asterisk heroes are the broken heroes of Alpha Wave 1. They don't, however, have Quetzalcoatl asterisk. It'll be interesting to see, perhaps what has changed there, but he was really impactful in my team for Fafnir as well. So like I said, check out that video. I think some of the mechanics that I applied for that team will be live for Wave 2, but they have fixed so much. The infinite scaling, the Minnow weapon, that still divinity, there's changes there that are yet to be determined from the content creators. But yeah, just so much. Looking forward to the changes, but yeah, it's going to be a completely different experience. Bug fixes are next up. Hero roster promotion and upgrading. Following bugs have been fixed. Passes previously not working as intended. That's great. Cooldown bonuses from ability upgrades. That's actually going to be live. Yeah, we were strengthening abilities, but actually weren't decreasing cooldowns. So that's awesome. Hero promotion would fail sometimes, block players from upgrading heroes. Imprint abilities would not show on heroes' abilities. That's great. We would imprint weapons and the passes wouldn't actually be applied to the heroes that are holding that weapon. So that'll be great. Text descriptions for abilities. Unintended experience where rapid extraction could grant multiple imprints. I didn't face that myself, but apparently they fixed it, so that's great. And then added missing awakening bonuses for several heroes. Awesome. All around good fixes. Battle and rewards. Imprints were not working on heroes unless they were awakened. Lock debuffs could be placed on Fafnir and Golden Guardian. I noticed that. Yeah, that was weird. Glad they're fixing that. They could also lose Tournament and Divinity permanently. So whatever they're doing, we're not exactly sure, but they have implemented some kind of fix there. So that'll be interesting to see what changes for Wave 2. Retaliating counterattack caused the battle to freeze. 100%. Glad they're fixing that. Debuffs that cause damage could trigger retaliating counterattack. Yes. Oh, that was so frustrating, especially at the higher waves when Musashi or other counterattackers could basically one-shot my heroes. That was a pain. Infinite Musashi counterattacks. There's a hilarious video of Musashi counterattacking himself constantly on the enemy team. That's awesome. See that fixed. Isis and Horus permanently counterattacking each other. Hercules could never die. Man, Hercules was such a pain to fight in the waves. So glad they're going to be fixing that. Acid debuffs could reduce your stats instead of the enemies. Shinigami animations were not playing. Heroes would vanish when some ultimates were cast. Tristan and other heroes would display the pink VFX when attacking. That big giant pink box was coming out of Tristan. Glad that'll be gone. Several challenges would not complete despite the challenge being met. That is huge. You know, literally some of the 2-star challenges we would face, we wouldn't get the rewards, we wouldn't get the star. And for wave 3, the competition, that's going to be pivotal for maximizing your points. So I'm glad that they've really spent some time focusing on that. Beowulf could deal tremendous damage, like honestly, crazy damage from him being an epic, which he is the boss slayer. Like that's kind of what his thing is, but it was still ridiculous amount of damage. Some stages granted Aetherstone rewards instead of heroes. They're fixing that. Disabled heroes would not play animations, but now properly play their disabled states. Interesting. We'll have to see what that looks like. And then fix an issue causing players to be able to claim 1-star rewards multiple times. So that's awesome. Yeah, there were some instances where people could literally farm stage 30 and get the 1-star reward every single time, which was a guaranteed legendary. No idea how they did that, but it happened. And then general fixes, improved memory and performance and game stability. Man, if they just spent all of their time on this between wave 1 and wave 2, I would have been so happy. But we'll see exactly how they change that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes there, but hopefully the memory loss and game stability will be a lot better. With those patch notes in mind, watch this video next for a full breakdown on everything you need to know to prepare for Alpha Wave 2 this week. I'll see you in the next one.